Hello and welcome back to this channel for my July TBR. I am so excited to be here. I am so excited to talk about the books that I'm going to read in July because I think I'm going to enjoy a lot of these books and I have been anticipating a few of these. So let's just get right into it. I always forget to introduce myself in these videos, by the way. If you're here for the first time, my name is Rebecca. I live in Germany, even though I'm American. It's a long story, but I'm way into books. So we're going to start talking about books because that's what we're here for, to be honest. This is in no particular order. I'm just going to pick them off the stack. So this book is called In Order to Live, A North Korean Girl's Journey to Freedom by Yeonmi Park. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So this is a memoir and I just thought it sounded unbelievably interesting. I am so interested in North Korea. I think most people are kind of intrigued by it because it's just so closed off to the rest of the world. And I just really was trying to find some books on like, what should I read? What can I read? And I've been watching some documentaries about North Korea and then this book turned up and I was like, you know what? That's exactly what I want to read. So that's what we're gonna do. And I'm really excited for this memoir. Then the next book is Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. And oh, I'm so excited about this. I don't really know much about this story and I don't think I'm going to try and figure out much about this story, but I know that it is about white privilege and how to use your privilege or how to abuse your privilege. And I'm just really excited. So let's have a look into the synopsis. Alex Chamberlain is a woman who gets what she wants and has made a living with her confidence-driven brand, showing other women how to do the same. So she is shocked when her babysitter, Amira Tucker, is confronted while watching the Chamberlains' toddler one night, walking the aisles of their local high-end supermarket. The store's security guard, seeing a young black woman out late with a white child, accuses Amira of kidnapping 2-year-old Briar. A small crowd gathers, a bystander films everything, and Amira is furious and humiliated. Alex resolves to make things right. That's like the premise of this book, and that's pretty much all I know. I haven't even read the rest of the synopsis in there, but I just think this sounds very interesting. The next book I have here is nonfiction, and that is Health at Every Size. I am pretty sure that the author of this book now goes by a different pronoun, but it's basically exactly about what this is, and it's about the different myths that we have about weight, and basically the concept of like there being a certain weight that everyone needs to fit into. I think most of us know that BMI is completely outdated and actually shouldn't be used anymore, but a lot of doctors still use BMI as a calculation for whether a person is healthy or not. And I'm just super interested in this. So here on the back, for example, there's myth, fat kills, and then reality. On average, overweight people live longer than normal weight people. Myths like that. And so I'm very excited to read this. I'm also reading this as research for a video on my main German channel because I was recently like harassed in the gym. There's no other way to put this kindly, but I was very amazed to learn that I could kind of put what they were saying into context and actually didn't project it onto myself. I'm going to talk about that in a video, but I'm going to read this first just to kind of have some science-backed arguments for why weight is not a universal topic everyone should be talking about. So the next book, very excited about this, is The Death of Vivek Ojie by Ojie. I'm butchering these names. So last month I read The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abby DeVray, and that was a recommendation from Elias. He said that was a really great book, I think some video last year. And in that same video, he also mentioned The Death of Vivek Ojie, and he said this was brilliant and gave it a 5 stars. I saw it on Book of the Month as one of the, and added it as an add-on, so I'm really excited to read this. I don't know much about it either, so let's have a look. One afternoon in a town in southeastern Nigeria, a mother opens her front door to discover her son's body, wrapped in colorful fabric at her feet. What follows is the tumultuous, heart-wrenching story of one family's struggle to understand a child whose spirit is both gentle and mysterious. Raised by a distant father and a compassionate but overprotective mother, Vivek Ojie suffers disorienting blackouts, moments of disconnection between self and surroundings. As adolescence leads to adulthood, Vivek finds solace and friendship with the warm, boisterous daughters of the Nigeri wives, foreign-born women married to Nigerian men. But Vivek's closest bond is with Osita, the worldly, high-spirited cousin whose teasing confidence masks a guarded private life. As their relationship deepens and Osita struggles to understand Vivek's escalating crisis, the mystery gives way to a heart-stopping act of violence in a moment of exhilarating freedom. So, we'll see at the end of July, won't we? So this next book, also very excited about, is Transcendent Kingdom by Ojie, and this is one of the Booker Prize nominated books because I wanted to read some of those. The shortlist for the Booker Prize was recently released, and I also watched Lena Norm's video on the long list of the Booker Prize. If you haven't seen that video, do check it out. I'll link it in the description box. I just thought this sounded interesting, so I wanted to read some more of the Booker Prize shortlisted books, and that's why I picked this up. Once again, don't really know what it's about, just really interested. It sounded really good in Lena's video, so I'm just gonna leave it there. Just watch Lena's video and you will understand why I wanted to pick this up. The last book on my TBR, and the book that I'm already so far into, is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And like I said, I'm already halfway through this book, so it's not really a TBR anymore at this point, but it is the 1st of July, so we're good. After reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I became an immediate Taylor Jenkins Reid fan, and then when I saw that there was a new book being published the very month after I read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I knew exactly which book I had to pick. And because Book of the Month does take a while, it took a while to get here, so I'm reading this in July and not in June, but it's already so good. But basically, the basic plot is that there is this family. They're siblings, and they are the sons and daughters of a very famous singer. So they're 4 siblings, and they each are like famous for their own thing. So some of them are surfers, one's a model, one's a photographer, and the youngest sister hasn't really shown her talent yet, although she's a very gifted surfer. Every year at like the end of summer, they have this big party at one of the siblings' houses, and at the very beginning of the book, we are told that there will be a fire at the end of the evening. So super excited about it, and yeah, like I said, I'm already halfway through, so I can't really say anymore, but super excited for this read. That is what is on my list so far. I'm also planning on catching up on some of the books that I didn't read from my June TBR because I wasn't able to get through all of them, because I realized in June that I picked too many books that were similar but not in my usual scope of reading. So for this TBR, I put more contemporary and literary fiction books on my list because I knew that that's something that I generally read. But in June, I put like 2 Greek mythology books onto my list, and then 3 actually older classics, or people who are not modern fiction, I'd say, and that led to the fact that I didn't really complete all of the different books that I had from the same category. So I'm still planning on like getting into Down and Out in Paris and London by George Orwell. I'm currently reading it parallel to Malibu Rising, and I'm also planning on starting East of Eden by John Steinbeck, but not until I'm done with Down and Out in Paris and London and actually feel like it, because yeah, that's kind of what I realized from my June TBR. I need to be more careful about creating TBRs that are balanced well. So I think I should have just stuck with 1 classic and 1 Greek mythology book and not picked so many of the same category, knowing that I don't read tons of classics, knowing that I enjoy contemporary and literary fiction more and the occasional classic. So that's it from me for this week. I'm excited to see you next week. Let me know if you've read any of these books. Please no spoilers, but let me know if you've read them, if you enjoyed them, if you didn't enjoy them. Super excited to read from you guys, and I will see you soon. Bye.